why does that even fucking matter? If the game is good, the game is good. If the game is bad, the game is bad. The character being hot or not has nothing to fucking do with that. Listen, man, if you want people to not think you're a misogynist when it comes to your opinion on this game, maybe don't lead your criticisms with, yeah, I don't like that we're playing a woman in a God of War game.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I play this game to watch the back of a muscular, angry, stoic father. I just want to be a man. Oh my god.
Unbridled masculine energy,
the unbridled masculine energy.
Visceral rage, the
visceral rage,
brutal combat, the stoicism, and then
the stoicism.
Later on, the way that they handled loss, fatherhood, and
You sound fruity, bro. What up, YouTube? It's your boy lilmakkyrov, aka Mito. You already know, and we back here with another one. It wasn't as cool as the first one. We back with another one, man. We back with another reaction, man. Yeah, man. So today, we just gonna talk about God of War, bro. I've been gone for a minute. Your boy's been a little sicky, a little sicky wicky, and a lot of things have happened in the middle, in between. We've had, what was it? We had the PlayStation State of Play, which they revealed a lot of cool shit. One of them being what we're going to talk about today, God of War Laufey. And, yeah, we had the Xbox Showcase and the Summer Games Fest, and I wanted to kind of do a reaction to those. Maybe, we'll see. Probably not. I don't know. But today, we are going to talk about this God of War Laufey shit. I saw that LD, which he made a video talking about it, and I really do fuck with this nigga, but I don't know, man. I'm not rocking with some of the shit that I heard this man say. So we gonna talk about it. Yeah, man. As always, the original video is gonna be in the description below, so make sure y'all check that shit out. And yeah, show this man some love, maybe. I don't know. I like this dude, but this video is definitely crazy. I did record one already before this, but I fucked up the audio. You could barely hear the actual video here, so I have to kind of redo it. But either way, let's see what Mr. LD's got to say, man, about Laufey.
to take a break from Twitter because, well, my opinions come out far better in a YouTube video anyway. How many times have you guys looked at a game and said, who is this being made for? How many times have you guys thought that exact same thing about a long-running franchise or a series that you've supported for years? One of the most wildest trends that I've seen in the games industry is the emergence of...
You know what game I had that fucking thought with? Saints Row. Yeah, they fucking dropped the ball on that shit from, like, Saints Row 2, bro. Like, ever since, like, Saints Row 3's where I was when I was... I like Saints Row 3, but that's when I was like, they're definitely chasing GTA 5 for sure. And then Saints Row 4 came out, and now it's just completely, dude, you're just the fucking president, nigga, and you're just fucking running. It was a fun game, but it's definitely nowhere near what the original Saints Row, the original 2 Saints Rows were about. So then when the new Saints Row came out, and you weren't even a fucking gangster anymore, you were just some fucking college dropout in, like, Arizona or some shit, yeah, I was like, who is actually genuinely gonna play this shit? And then, to my surprise, literally no fucking body. So that's definitely one game that comes to mind. That, fucking Concord, High Guard, you know, all those games.
These games that seem to have just no target audience whatsoever, whether it's the themes, whether it's the genre, whether it's the characters, doesn't really matter. You can just instantly look at it and know nobody is gonna show up for this. Hell, they're probably not even gonna hear about it. Along with that, we have long-running franchises that have been pivoting so hard. These guys have been snapping their own ankles. They have been changing their games, changing their audiences, changing just about everything they can, trying to broaden their audience as much as possible while just losing all those people just the same. Recently, we just saw PlayStation announce God of War Laufey, a spin-off title starting Faye instead of Kratos, and people are mad. I haven't seen gamers going at each other's throats like this in a long time. It's like Bloodsport. I've actually been kind of enjoying it, but much of it has been this intentional, dishonest reframing and gaslighting, trying to make this an issue over gender rather than anything else. Like, people actually have a problem with female protagonists in video games. No, this is a matter of taste. This is a matter of expectations. It's a matter of people feeling like they're being pushed out. So today I want to talk about that.
Okay, So let's keep that in mind then, okay? So his whole thing is the fact that he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the fact that people are just reducing people like his or people like him and their arguments about their dissatisfaction with Lao Fei, okay? He's upset that people are just he's saying that people are just reducing his dissatisfaction for the game to just him being some sort of misogynistic dude who just doesn't want to play as women in a video game, and you know, he's saying that's not true. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Though I want to just like sticky note one thing here real quick. There's one thing I've noticed, especially being a dude, right? I'm a dude, I think. There's one thing about being a dude that I realized, especially with the games and shit. He's right. He's absolutely right. Guys don't mind playing as a woman, as a like playing as a woman as a protagonist in a video game. The caveat to that though is that you have to make that woman conventionally attractive. Not even conventionally attractive. You have to make her like super fucking hot. You know what I'm saying? Because isn't it always funny that anytime you push these guys with that, where you're like, you just want to play as a woman in a video game, who are the first people that they always reference when it comes to, or the first games they always reference when it's like, no, we have plenty of games where women are the fucking protagonists in those games. Which ones are they? You know, you got Tomb Raider, right? Lara Croft, very, very attractive woman, right? Whatever. She's wearing literally the smallest, tightest clothes possible every fucking time. Bayonetta, she is a baddie. I'll give it to you. She's fucking hot as hell. Again, hot. What's the other one what's the other game they bring in? What's that fucking Gooner game that I reacted to like a year or two ago? What the fuck was it called? Not First Descendant. What is it? Is it Honkai Star Rail? Is it that one? There's some like Final Fantasy. There's another one. All their anime characters are like conventionally attractive anime characters. So my point is that these men don't mind playing women in video games as long as that woman is hot. And I feel like that's definitely where a lot of this issue is coming from, because it's like, dog, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do they have to be super hot for you to even want to play the fucking game? Isn't that, you don't think that's a little weird? And then any moment you have a game where the protagonist isn't a fucking Lara Croft or a Bayonetta or something, that game is like fucking crazy shit on. And like I can think of like Star Wars Outlaws, you know what I'm saying? Like with that chick who was the I never played it, but that chick who was the main protagonist. All of the fucking discourse I saw about Star Wars Outlaws when it came out, the first things that people were complaining about was the fact that the chick was not hot enough. Then after that was the actual like, yeah, and the game's also buggy and then this and that. But the first thing that people fucking pointed out was that she was not attractive. And it's like, but why does that even fucking matter? If the game is good, the game is good. If the game is bad, the game is bad. The character being hot or not has nothing to fucking do with that. And it's weird to me. So I just want to sticky note that real quick.
And I want to talk about all the drama that's been going on with God of War Lao Fei, people's reaction to it as well as mine. I want to talk about a game that lived, died, and was buried before you even knew about it, and how so often people want you to just ignore the elephant in the room. Or they call you a misogynist. Sorry, your insults don't work here. So I sat down to watch the PlayStation State of Play, and honestly, I walked away pretty happy. I really feel like...
I mean, hey, man. Listen, man, if you want people to not think you're a misogynist when it comes to your opinion on this game, maybe don't lead your criticisms with, yeah, I don't like that we're playing a woman in a God of War game. I'm not saying that's what he's doing. I'm just saying maybe don't do that, you know? Maybe don't do that, because that's the majority of what other people are doing. The same people who have this sentiment where they're like, you're just reducing my argument to just calling me a misogynist. Well, the only fucking thing you're complaining to me about is what's God of War, and I want to play Kratos. And why am I playing fucking a woman? Why am I playing Lao Fei? This doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't want to play a woman. I want to play a man. There's literal memes, bro, of them AI, like not even AI. I don't know if it's AI, but there's memes of people who have fucking switched the cover art from God of War Laufey to say God of War Laundry, and then there's little AI like videos of like Kratos like in a fucking dining room or some shit, like yelling at fucking Faye to like make him a sandwich or something, and while she's like cutting up vegetables and shit. So like when you do shit like that, and there's a lot of people who do shit like that on Twitter and are reposting it, saving it, liking it, whatever. What do you want the general audience to take from that? Other than, okay, you're just a fucking asshole. You're being a misogynistic asshole. And you're upset because you're a woman and not Kratos. Like, how could you be... man...
Sony has finally PlayStation revealed God of War Laufey, a spin-off title with Kratos' wife Faye set in some kind of fever dream realm for the dead gods. Visually, I think the game looks really impressive. The combat is going to be a huge step up from 2018 in Ragnarok. Apparently, Kratos gave Faye all of his air combos instead of a wedding ring when they got married, but, you know, as I watched, I just felt nothing.
Like, you see what I'm saying, dog? Like, it's the little jokes. It's the little jokes. It's the little things that they say in passing that you don't catch that tells you exactly how they feel about it. Look at that. Well, apparently he gave her all her air combos instead of a wedding ring in the other game. What is that? I don't understand the joke. What are you trying to say? That Faye should have just been a housewife or some shit? That she should have just got... I don't understand. But it's those little jokes that they tell you something. Now, I'm telling you, I'm going to be very disappointed in LD in about 5 minutes.
The tone just felt so painfully millennial. There's a talking cube named Frank and a sword named Rue, and there's this constant ironic dialogue and the same pink and purple aesthetic that we have seen in countless generic games over the past couple of years. And I just sat there thinking, who is this for? And with Faye as the main character...
Pink and purple aesthetic? So are you telling me you have an issue with the colors pink and purple? Are we fucking serious? Are we fucking serious? That's one of your genuine critiques, is that you're upset because they're using colors like pink and purple when in one cutscene when they're talking to the cube and the sword. This is what gaming conversations have boiled down to when it comes to some of these people. Just complaining to complain. Just nitpicking to nitpick. What about the pink and purple makes you upset? I don't understand. Fuck, man. We've really fallen as far as like gaming commentators go, where we're really gonna sit here and bitch about pink and fucking purple.
Even in a spin-off, guys, I'm just going to say it. I play God of War for Kratos. I have played these games for 20 years because of the unbridled masculine energy, the visceral rage, the brutal combat, the stoicism, and then later on, the way that they handled...
Say it again, big dog. Say it again, big dog. Describe Kratos again in the most manly way possible. Let me hear you.
The unbridled masculine energy, the
unbridled masculine energy.
Visceral rage, the
visceral rage,
brutal combat, the stoicism, and then
the stoicism.
Later on, the way that they handled loss, fatherhood, and
You sound fruity, bro. You sound fruity as fuck. I'm only saying that because he seems like... I'm telling you, he's the type of guy where if you were to call him that shit, he would be so pissed off at you. You sound so fruity, bro.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I play this game to watch the back of a muscular, angry, stoic father. I just want to be a man. Like, oh my god, dude! Holy fuck,
man. Look, dog. You'll probably get so much satisfaction by taking a shower in the gym, bro. In the men's shower, in the men's locker room. Just go take a shower there, dog. You'll get all of this feeling you want to get from Kratos. You'll get that in real life, dog. Oh, bro. It's 2026, big dog. Just come out the closet, man.
these games for 20 years because of the unbridled masculine energy, the visceral rage, the brutal combat, the stoicism, and then later on, the way that they handled loss, fatherhood, and grappling with your past from a male perspective. It felt like the series grew up with me. So playing a quirked up version of that same universe as Faye just doesn't really do it for me. And yes, I can see the narrative value. Faye's death in God of War 2018 left a lot of questions, but I'd always assumed that those questions, well, Kratos, he would just uncover them himself. So when I see...
It's not just... Did you not pay attention to, like, the majority of the story of 2018? It's not just about Faye's death, bro. It's about Faye herself. Like, you understand that the Leviathan axe that you're using in that game is not Kratos's. That's her weapon, right? That's why when you first, like, meet Sindri, and he's like, excuse me, I don't mean to bother you, cause like you look like you could kick my ass, but that axe looks real familiar, dog. I know the person who's supposed to have that axe, and if you did something to her, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And he was scared as shit of Kratos, but he was about to stand on 10 because that's who Faye was. He didn't recognize Kratos. He recognized Faye's axe. And then when Atreus told him, like, oh yeah, this is the axe that mother gave father before she died, then, mind you, Sindri still didn't even process that he ran into her son and her husband. He was just like, oh fuck, she died. Like, she's not just like, oh yeah, she's just Kratos' dead wife. She is she is a pillar to this entire arc of Kratos. There's a lot more than just, oh yeah, I thought Kratos was just gonna run around and just kind of figure shit out on his own. No, there's a lot with her. Like, bro, like, you do realize too, like, in 2018 as well, bro, like, the whole reason Baldur goes to go fight Kratos, he's not looking to fight Kratos. He's looking to fight fucking Faye. He didn't know Faye died. So when he pulled up on Kratos, looking for Faye, he found fucking Kratos. And then that's why when he pulled up, he was just like, who the fuck are you? Like, she's more, again, I'm just gonna repeat this, dog. She is more than just Kratos' dead wife. She is a pillar to his story. She's also a pillar to that whole development thing that you just said that you love so much. That you're like, oh yeah, and then I like Kratos because then, you know, I saw how he was able to grapple fatherhood and trying to be a good dad from a male perspective. She was a huge part of that. A massive part of that development. And you just have no interest? They've been building her up for the last 2 games, and now that she has her own, you have no interest in learning her, playing as her, figuring out what her story was, figuring out what she's doing in the afterlife, how she's gonna help Kratos and Atreus from the afterlife. You have no interest. Dude, I have to question whether or not you fucking actually paid attention to the story of 2018 and Ragnarok, bro. I deadass think you, LD dog, I think you deadass just, I mean, it would make sense because you literally just said it. You were like, I just play Kratos or I just play God of War to play Kratos, to be this fucking crazy masculine, bulky, fucking muscular, fucking whoop ass dude. I know I keep harping on but because it's just so funny, dude. Every time I hear that, dude, that's all I hear is like, I want to play a big muscular guy. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it would make sense because you were literally just like, yeah, bro, I just play Kratos or I play God of War because I want to play Kratos. I want to be a fucking angry dude that just fucking runs around and kills things. So that would make sense. If that's how you play all your God of War games, that would make sense on how you feel about Lao Fei in this game, because you just don't pay attention to the story. You just genuinely don't care that much about the story. All you care about is killing gods as Kratos, which is fine. Just say that and then move on. You can say that, but then that doesn't mean that Faye shouldn't have her own spin-off game and isn't as important to the story as she is, just because you decided to not pay attention enough. Just because you decided to not pay attention enough to the story. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know.
A game like this, I have to ask, is this expanding God of War, or is it replacing it with the thing that people came for? And clearly, I'm not the only one asking that.
Replacing it? Hold on, I'm pretty sure, because I looked this up before. Yeah, right here. Look, see, I looked this up because like I said, I recorded this a little bit before, but I fucked up the video. But look, Sony Santa Monica is actively developing more God of War games featuring Kratos, following the reveal of God of War Laufey, which shifts the focus to Kratos' late wife Faye. The studio and series director Cory Barlog confirmed Kratos remains the face of the franchise, and that multiple Kratos-led projects are still in the works. You can read more on full parts on IGN, whatever. So, I don't know where you got this idea that they're gonna now just replace Kratos, but you're wrong. Clearly, the series director and the studio themselves have said Kratos is still our franchise face. We're still actively making projects with Kratos as the main protagonist in those projects. Even after Faye. We're just making Faye a spinoff. So, I don't know what you're getting at with they're now going to all of a sudden replace Kratos. That's just simply not true.
Everybody's been talking about this, and man, has it been divisive. The trailer ended up with 340,000 likes and 179,000 dislikes, and some people are just really excited to learn more about Faye and her relationship with Kratos and some of the things that went left unsaid. They are also picking apart some of the cool references, like how Faye's vision of Kratos is helping her up in the very beginning of the game, and it lines up perfectly with the first game when he's fighting Thor. Other people were just immediately put off by the dialogue, the talking cube and the sword, and putting a woman in the center of a 20-year-old franchise that's been built around Kratos. Some people memed on that contradiction, putting Faye in the kitchen. Other people were just simply feeling like their expectations had been betrayed. Spinoff or not, they come to God of War expecting Kratos, and that's not what they got. Not even close. I mean, even...
Can you imagine if this was the same opinion and this was the same attitude people had for any other game, like Halo Reach or something? Like, I've never heard somebody in Halo, like, I've never heard a Halo fan go, yeah, bro, it's not a Halo game unless I can play Master Chief. I've never heard that. And that's why you have a game, funny enough, a spin-off game like Halo Reach that has no sign of Master Chief in there, but is literally one of the most cherished fucking Halo games in that franchise. Legend of Zelda, you don't play as Zelda, like, at all, pretty much. You literally only play Link. I think you play Zelda maybe a few times in some of the games, but, like, you play Link. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand, you know? Or, like, my favorite, Assassin's Creed. That'd be like me sitting here being like, yeah, bro, after, like, Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, all the other Assassin's Creeds ain't real, bro. If you're not Altair or fucking Ezio, it's not even a real assassin type shit. Like, no, man. You have to expand these games. If you want them to be long-running and successful, you have to allow them to expand their story and their universes, and that comes with different storylines, maybe a different character. And this one doesn't even, and I'm saying that because I'm thinking of Assassin's Creed, but we're talking about God of War. This isn't even a different storyline, really. It's a different perspective from Faye's perspective in the afterlife of her going through her journey in the afterlife, parallel to when Kratos and Atreus were going through their journey in 2018 in Ragnarok to take her ashes to Jotunheim. And then in Ragnarok to fight fucking Thor. So I don't like, it's not like this game is coming out of nowhere. But hold on, there's something else that he said here too.
When he's fighting Thor, other people were just immediately put off by the dialogue, the talking cube and the sword, and putting a woman in the center of a 20-year-old franchise that's been built around Kratos. Some people...
You see what I'm saying? Again, he did it again. But this time he actually added a couple more critiques. So, okay, so now, remember, he said earlier he was upset, pretty much, because people like us, me, and whoever else is excited for Laufey and doesn't like the whole people shitting on it for no reason. People like us are just reducing their critiques to just them being misogynistic. That's what he said, okay? And now he gave some critiques on it that he thinks are critiques, right? So what are those critiques that people have now? They're upset over a cube, a sword, some dialogue, which I don't fucking care, and the big one, the woman. The woman. So, what are you upset about? That people are calling you out because you just are upset that there's a woman as the lead in a spin-off God of War game. And not just a woman, it's literally Kratos' wife, the person who has been whose whole aura and legacy has been built up for the last 2 games. It's not a random chick. This is his wife. The same woman that, mind you, met Kratos when he was still this fucking hot-headed fucking bastard, fought him to a standstill, and then got with him, and then had a kid with him, and then sat there and called this motherfucker a good boy. And you're not interested in this at all. But either way, I don't care if you're interested in it or not, but she's a part of the story. They're not changing anything. This is a natural continuation of a story that you're complaining about. And the only reason why you're complaining, you can say it's a cube, you can say it's the sword, you can say it's the pink and purple colors, you can say it's the dialogue, but the real thing that even you, LD, keep harping on is being the woman. You made the joke earlier about Kratos should have gave her a wedding ring. Now you've shown the fucking video I was referencing earlier about people making AI videos of Faye being in the kitchen making a sandwich for Kratos, talking about how they changed the cover art from God of War Laufey to God of War Laundry. Like, all the things that you're doing in this video, again, they just reinforce my idea and my opinion that you are upset because you have to play a woman in a God of War game. That's it. And everything else just sounds like convenient excuses to just dodge that fact. And I wish you would just fucking just come out clean and say it, bro. I really would. But anyways.
People memed on that contradiction, putting Faye in the kitchen. Other people were just simply feeling like their expectations had been betrayed. Spinoff or not, they come to God of War expecting Kratos, and that's not what they got. Not even close. I mean, even David Jaffe, the creator of God of War, came out and said that it just didn't make any sense to him. He went out of his way to make sure that he has no issue with a female lead. That's not what he's trying to say, but he argued that this is just not what people come to God of War for, especially with the game's overall tone, saying that without the name or the connection to the universe, he believes that this game would have been forgotten the minute it was talked about.
You know what's so cute about him referencing this dude right here? Because this is the original creator of God of War. You know what's cute about LD doing this? And he knowingly left this part out of this video. This guy doesn't even like the new God of War games. He doesn't like the 2018 God of War or Ragnarok. He doesn't think that that's even Kratos. He thinks Kratos should still be this fucking one-dimensional, angry, just fucking vengeful fucking bastard that just kills anything and everything just cuz. So this guy doesn't even like the new Kratos that you, LD, just said yourself in your video that you like because you felt like you actually grew with him, watching him go through his redemption and becoming a good father. This guy doesn't even like that version of Kratos. So why are you just now using him to try to back up your argument just because he fucking agrees with you on one thing here? He doesn't even agree with you. If you were to sit here and try to debate with him that 2018 Kratos is better than old Kratos, he would call you dumb. No, maybe not dumb, but he would sit there and disagree with you and have a very big argument with you over it because he doesn't even like it. So I find it cute that LD is cherry picking, is kind of cherry picking using this guy to kind of back up his claim without giving the full detail. I'm just adding your full detail that you decided to leave out, big dog. This guy does not like new Kratos at all. So I don't take that as you will.
There's been a lot of back and forth as to why people have been reacting so strongly. Some people seem genuinely confused, but I think a lot of people are just acting. Instead of engaging with what players are actually saying, you're seeing people attack their masculinity, accuse them of being afraid to play as a woman, or they're just calling them a misogynist and moving on. I wasn't even going to make a video about this until I had seen just how often people were dishonestly reframing and reducing criticism, acting like players just have no reason whatsoever to be upset when we have watched some version of this happen across nearly every fucking major franchise.
Well, you really fucking don't have a reason to complain. This is a natural step forward in this story. You just 2 minutes ago laughed and chuckled at people making an AI video of Faye making fucking Kratos a sandwich. And you want me to genuinely sit here and take you seriously when you're like, oh, I'm not upset because it's a woman. I'm not upset because it's a woman. It's because of all these other things. And then you just constantly bring up your gripes with the fact that you have to play as a woman. I don't take you seriously, bro. Nobody's reducing your arguments to just you being misogynistic. You're literally being misogynistic. Well, maybe not you, but maybe not you, LD. I'll take that back. But the other people on Twitter are being misogynistic, and then you're backing them up. So it's like, fuck, like, bro, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Not believe what I'm hearing? Not believe what I'm seeing here? You want me to just not? What do you want me to do? The only other complaints you guys have is you're mad at a cube and a fucking sword and the color purple. And you want me to take your critique seriously. What? Get the fuck out of here, man.
People are attached to Kratos. He has been the face of this series for 20 years. And who are we kidding here? God of War has always been a game that's been primarily made for dudes. From banging chicks for red orbs to slaughtering the Greek pantheon to raising your son by yourself and grappling with your past, this series has built its identity around Kratos and a distinctive male perspective. That is what people expect when they see God of War. So, spin-off or not, you hand that series, you hand that role over to his wife, you are going to upset one part of that audience, which is probably, in this case, most of that audience. It looks like the franchise is moving away to somebody else, and that's so obvious that even Domino's is out here calling it out.
No, but they're not. But they're not. They literally came out and said they're not replacing Kratos. So that point is moot. It has there's no foundation for that point. It's just nothing. You're just bringing it up to just add more bullshit to your argument to get people riled up, but it's not even true. And who the fuck cares what Domino's thinks, motherfucker? I don't give a fuck what Domino's thinks. Domino's is ass pizza anyways. I would rather have pizza. I love pizza. I would rather have Little Caesars before I eat Domino's. And just so you know, I can't stand Little Caesars, except for the deep dish. That's pretty good. But everything, I can't stand Little Caesars. I would rather have Little Caesars than Domino's, man. I don't give a fuck. Fuck Domino's. But, okay, you have to play as Faye, and these games are notoriously made for men. Okay, and here's the thing. Here's the thing with men, okay? Part of your journey as a man is finding a woman that is your rock, okay? A lot of us men, we come with a lot of bullshit. We come with a lot of baggage, a lot of insecurity, emotional insecurity, physical insecurities, anger issues, all this bullshit, mental problems, trauma, PTSD, whatever. A lot of us men come with a lot of fucking baggage, okay? And a lot of times, that scares a lot of people away from us, right? Because we don't know how to control it. Sometimes a lot of times we get emotional. Sometimes we get angry. We start lashing out at people that we don't mean to, or whatever. Or we just look intimidating because we're just emotionally unavailable or some shit. You know what I'm saying? That is true. That is part of the male experience, is to feel all those things. Yes. But another part of the male experience is as you grow and as you get older, you start kind of loosening up, right? And you know what helps with loosening up, like your emotional distresses and your insecurities and stuff? You know what really helps break that apart? Finding a woman that you love, right? That's why when you find these like married couples that have been together for like 20, 30, 40, 50 fucking years or some shit, the man will sit there. Yeah, they might bitch and fucking complain at each other and nip at each other, whatever. But you have a genuine conversation with the husband, and he'll tell you she is the best thing to happen to him in a long time. Most of the time. That is what it is. That's how it's been in my experience. Most of the long couple relationships that I've seen that are still going to this day, the man will say that. The man will say, before her, I had a lot of bullshit that was up with me. And honestly, still being with her, she dealt with a lot of my bullshit that I did. And I didn't treat her the best. But she held me down. She was my rock. She helped me get through a lot of this shit. She talked me through a lot of this shit. She took a lot of this baggage off me. And I'll always love her for it. That's part of your journey as a man, is to find a woman that is able to be your rock. Being a man is not just, you're not just supposed to sit here and surround yourself with a bunch of other fucking dudes all the fucking time. I'm sorry. As a dude, I don't give a fuck what other men think of me, dog. Because we're all fucked up, man. I don't give a fuck what y'all think of me. I mean, I do to a sense, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't care if you think I'm a fucking Sigma male stoic motherfucker. I don't care. I don't care if you think me getting upset makes me emotional and makes me weak. I don't give a fuck. You're a dude. You got a lot of shit wrong with you too, and I know you do. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. But with a lot of my emotional baggage shit that I have going on, you know who I do go to with that? A girl that I'm talking to. A girl that I trust. Women around me that I trust. That's a part of your journey as a man. So that's why I believe playing as Lao Fei is a good step into kind of teaching, and not teaching, but into kind of showing the journey of becoming a better man, because women play a big part in making men better. You can agree with that or disagree with that. I don't give a fuck. It's just the truth. And yeah, you play it, bro. Lao Fei is a part of that journey, man. She's a pivotal part in Kratos' journey, because let me tell you, we know Kratos came with a lot of baggage, and I'm very interested to learn about the woman who handled that, who was able to change that, to make him an actual doting father who cared. After losing his first family, he still cared about Atreus when he didn't have to. He had every reason to just say fuck the world and fuck everything else. But Faye was there to help him through that. I want to see how she did that. I want to see what about her personality made Kratos decide to be with her and change for her. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas are weak, man.
And look, man, I totally understand the argument that this is just a spin-off and that Kratos is confirmed to be coming back, and normally I would just shrug this off and move on. But the problem is that the players do not feel like the main thing is secure anymore. All likely due to some PTSD that's been brought on by pattern recognition. Across all of entertainment, we've been watching as male leads have been sidelined, aged out, humiliated, killed off, or replaced. So even when it's just one...
And it's funny, I don't mean to keep harping on this because this has nothing to do with the game right now, but what he just said right there is the exact issue on why most of you guys cannot get a good relationship or keep a good relationship. Because of what he just said there, right? Because this is how y'all treat your video games.
Pattern recognition. Across all of entertainment, likely due to some people do not feel like the main thing is secure anymore. All likely due to some PTSD that's been brought on by pattern recognition. Across all of entertainment, we've been watching as...
We feel like this because of probably some PTSD and some pattern recognition that we've seen across all of media entertainment. And now we're seeing the same things here in this game. No, you're not. What you're doing, just like you're probably doing in relationships or potentially with women that you're trying to get with, if you like women or men, whatever you do, whatever you like. What you're doing is you're taking your trauma and your shit from what somebody else did to you, or in this case, what other game companies have done to their player bases, right? And now you're taking all that trauma and all that anger and all that fucking bullshit, and you're bringing it to a game or to a person who is healthy, who is communicating with you and telling you, hey, we're cool. Hey, this is cool. Or in this sense, the Santa Monica Studios is literally telling you, hey, yes, we're releasing a God of War spinoff with Faye as the lead, but one, here's a remake of all three of the trilogy for you guys to play if you want to play that instead. And B, just to clarify, we are not replacing Kratos with Faye. He is still our face for the franchise, and we have other projects with him as the lead in those projects still currently in the making right now. And instead of listening to that, you're like, nope, because I was hurt by fucking Dragon Age Veilguard, so dope, I'm bringing all that shit over here. That's what you're doing to me, and I'm not gonna do that. And then you're just gonna ruin the shit. And that's what happens with most of y'all men in these relationships. I can promise you that. You're like, nope, my ex did this shit to me too, and blah blah blah, and that's a red flag, so fuck you. And then boom, and then you miss out on a probably good relationship just because you decided to not listen and talk. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing here with these games. Instead of listening to the studios themselves, you're just running in with your own conclusions and being like, yeah, nah, yep, nope. You see what they're trying to do? They're trying to feminize my fucking God of War game. When it's not happening. Not at all.
Male leads have been sidelined, aged out, humiliated, killed off, or replaced. So even when it's just one specific game that might feel harmless, it's landing inside of a much larger pattern. One that people have been pointing out for years, only to be told that they're just imagining what's happening right in front of them. Nobody would care if this was isolated, but we've been watching as Ciri's taking over for Geralt in The Witcher 4. Kate replaced Marcus in Gears. It happened with
They never learn. Your target audience is mostly men. Men want to play as men, not women, unless they're hot, which we know you hate. We are sick of seeing our favorite characters being replaced for diversity quotas. Just stop already. Okay. This LD, this was an L of a screenshot. You know why this is an L of a screenshot? Because this screenshot dismantles this guy's original post anyways. Because look, we're talking about Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, and The Witcher, okay? All of these games have replaced their main characters with women, okay? This one, for Ghost of Yote, is still a very successful game that is played by a lot of men, right? This Last of Us game, I think it's Last of Us Part 2 or some shit, whatever the fuck, still very successful. A lot of people love this game, with Ellie as the lead. The Witcher 4. I haven't played The Witcher. I should play The Witcher. But The Witcher 4. They replaced the original with the dude from The Witcher with this chick who's been following him, I think, since about like The Witcher 3 and probably before that. I don't know. But I know I've seen her in The Witcher 3 when I've watched clips of it. But this chick, Witcher 4, also still very successful and played by a lot of men. So what are we talking about? Clearly men don't have to just only play women as like hot women or whatever. They don't care for that, and I think a lot of guys who play video games don't care about that shit. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. I think all they care about is, all right, cool, I'm a chick, that's cool, is the game good though? And for all three of these games, the answer's been yes, the games are good. So your point here is mute. It doesn't fucking matter. And it's funny that LD is using this as some sort of fucking like, yeah, see, dude, like, holy fuck, like they're really doing this, man. Like they're replacing all of their characters with women, and then now they're gonna. Who cares? Just let the game be good and the story be good, man. And that's what all three of these games. Honestly, all four of these games are probably gonna be like that. So like, it's just you fucking weirdos that are just so obsessed with playing as men. You guys have played as men in these games for the past 20 years. You can't play one game as a chick? And not even just as a chick. Like, it makes sense. All of their stories make sense. It's not like it's just some random chick that they just threw in there. They all have a story as to why they're doing what they're doing in these games. And it all is cohesive. Like, for 20 years you guys have played as men. You can't just play as a chick one time? And then because of that, that again makes me feel like my opinion of you guys, probably majority of you being misogynistic and just don't like women in general unless they're conventionally attractive, that reinforces my opinion on that. This screenshot just did that for me. And LD, bro, you're not helping your case here, dog. I doubt he's gonna ever see this shit, but I'm just saying. I'm disappointed because I actually like this guy, and I respect a lot of his opinions when it came to video games and shit, but this was not it.
Charted, Malin away with Hades 2, Atsu replacing Jin in Ghost of Yotai. We regularly see male-led games move towards female protagonists, but we never see that door swing in the opposite direction. And I am saying this as somebody that likes most of these characters. And yes, some of the changes that we see absolutely make complete narrative sense. I defended The Witcher 4, and I went out of my way to even defend Ghost of Yotei because Jin's story was finished. This is not me saying that every single franchise must be led by the same man forever, or even only by men in some cases. But when you're seeing the same shift happen again and...
But you literally just said that, though. You literally just said, yeah, I don't know about you. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys, but I play God of War to play Kratos. That's what you just said not even like 2-3 minutes ago. And now you're saying, yeah, no, I don't mind. Like, I'm not saying every game has to keep the same man character in it all the time. Well, so when can they switch? Because clearly when they're doing it now with Faye, when they've literally sat there for 2 games with Kratos, built up her lore a little bit, built up her aura, built up her story to get to this point where it makes sense for them to drop a game on her so you can learn more about her. It's clear it's a problem because now you're like, they're replacing Kratos. But you're saying here, oh, I'm not saying every game has to keep the same main character all the time, but then when they try to switch it and do it the right way, you're like, oh, they're replacing him. Why would you do that? Why are they always switching to women? How come they can never just keep it as the men? You're trying to play both sides because you just want to be on the right side, but you don't know how to like dance this one because you know your audience is that fucking bullshit weird chud loser audience. But you, LD, I know you in your head understand that this is a perfect way to kind of bring in a different character to be a main character for a God of War game. It makes sense. They did it in the right way, but you just don't know how to properly say that to your audience without your audience just going absolutely fucking bonkers on you. So you're stuck. So now you're fence sitting.
And again, it becomes difficult not to notice. More of the gaming space is becoming feminine coded, and the audience that has historically supported these franchises is now being told that noticing that is just them being insecure or hateful. And that's where the backlash is coming from. You know, people really love to throw around some broad numbers claiming that women make up nearly half of gamers today, but those numbers almost always include every single platform, every single mobile game, every single genre, and it's all under one massive umbrella. The minute that you start breaking that audience down by publisher, genre, and individual franchise, that picture is going to change immediately. Capcom has reported that their audience is overwhelmingly male, and more relevant here, a Nexus Mod survey from 2015 of around 25,000 respondents found that men made up 88% of the audience for God of War Ragnarok. Gaming as a whole might have a broad audience, but God of War does not have a broad, evenly divided audience. It has a very specific one. And when you see people that are saying that a game like this feels like it's being aimed at somebody else, they are not just basing that off of Faye being the protagonist. They're talking about everything else that's surrounding her. I think that a lot of people like to conveniently ignore how significantly changing a lead in a game affects the broader tone, narrative, dialogue, and these.
So what else about it is making you feel like this game is now being redirected towards a different audience? What other audience? And 2, who cares? Why did you bring up stats of like trying to prove that like the majority of gamers are men and not women? It's not a 50-50. Who fucking cares? I'm so dead ass. I think most men don't give a shit. I really don't think most men give a shit. I don't. I really don't. I think you're pretending that they do because it's easy to pull up those stats and be like, see, the majority of men play God of War 88%, so it just makes sense why like just be Kratos because more men probably want to play men. It's not fucking. That's not the case. That's not how that works. That's the correlation is not how that works at all. Men just want to play games that have a good story. I don't think it fucking matters who's doing it. And as long as, if you're going to make a transition for a character, as long as it makes sense, it makes sense. And again, I don't know why I entertained that fucking thought, because they're not replacing Kratos. They're not replacing Kratos. This is one spin-off game where they're just going to explain Faye. That's fine. They're not replacing anybody. And it's not being redirected towards a only women audience just because Faye's in there. The audience is the people who have played God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. That's who this game is directed to. It's not directed towards anybody else.
Games are just not going to be the same. They're entirely different. And maybe that's where a lot of this frustration is actually coming from. It's not as simple as God of War with a female lead. It's the second that these studios make a change, everything else seems to change with it. That doesn't happen because a woman can't lead in a brutal or serious game. So what are you scared of? So what? You're scared that
You're scared that God of War Lao Fei is gonna actually be super successful, and then from there, there's gonna be like, oh, okay, we're just gonna use Fei for the rest of the God of War games. Is that what you're trying to say?
Can't be aimed at male audiences. We already know that they can. Lara Croft, Bayonetta, Nier Automata, Stellar Blade, plenty of Final Fantasy games have made it work, and a lot of people are really looking forward to Tides of Annihilation. The difference is that those characters were written to belong as the lead in their worlds.
And so was Faye. So was Faye. What? Nobody knew who Kratos was, but they knew who Faye was. She was literally written to be a pillar in the fucking Norse mythology arc of God of War. The only difference is that you guys don't think she's hot enough. Like, hey, man, like you said, if I'm going to be honest, guys, I play God of War to play Kratos. All right, dude, I'm going to be honest. Again, you guys just don't think she's hot enough. That's it. If they gave her some big-ass titties, a low-cut fucking robe where you see her fucking cleavage, and she's over there swinging like a badass, you guys would not be bitching at all. I'm so serious. But because she's not that, because she's just a woman, and either way, it's not like she's ugly either. She's the actress that did the modeling, or that was the model for Faye, is fucking beautiful. But because you guys don't think that she's conventionally attractive, because all the games you just listed, oh, see, we like games with women. We like games with women. Tomb Raider, Stellar Blade, fucking Bayonetta, fucking Final Fantasy. What did I say? All those games have women that are leads, yes, but they're hot. They have to be extremely hot. If they're not hot, they don't want to play it. And you want people to sit here and think you're not misogynistic. You don't think? What the fuck is this, bro? Nothing you've said has convinced me that you have anything valid to critique this game on. The first thing you bitched about was the colors pink and purple. Fuck.
Entire identity of the game doesn't need to bend around another character taking over. But when these modern studios inherit these male-led franchises, they seem completely incapable of doing that. Instead of placing a woman into a natural role, naturally existing there, they have to rebuild the tone around them in the safest, most corporate version of a female protagonist that they could possibly imagine. And I think that's what people see when they immediately look at Lao Fei.
How? Then those people haven't played 2018 God of War or Ragnarok. They didn't bend the story of God of War just so they could make Faye fit. She was a part of the whole thing. She was a part of 2018 and Ragnarok. Again, nobody knew who Kratos was in 2018. Nobody. He wasn't even the God of War anymore because he wasn't in the Greek mythology. He was just Kratos, and nobody knew who he was. They only knew who Faye was. And that's why they knew that he was the one who was married to Faye, was because he had her axe, her Leviathan axe. So she's not just randomly crammed into the story and then forces the story to bend to make her fit in it. She's always been in it. So this whole point makes no sense unless you just haven't paid attention to the story, which is what I'm leaning on, bro. I don't think LD paid attention to the God of War story from 2018 and Ragnarok at all. I hate that you see how I'm talking? I'm talking like I don't think that Legendary Drops actually played any of the God of War story. I think he only wanted to be big muscly Kratos, and I don't blame him, because I like to also stare at Kratos' sweaty traps when he's lifting that big massive log. Holy shit.
They're not just reacting to Faye as a character or Faye replacing Kratos. They are reacting to everything that comes with her. The quips, the talking cube, the talking sword, and the version of God of War that suddenly sounds and looks like a dozen other games that everybody has already ignored.
Oh, really? Really? We're going to do this? We're going to genuinely do this? Really? Okay. So... No, because he said this game looks like every other game. It looks nothing like God of War, basically, right? All right. So let's see. Just real quick, guys. Just real quick. This looks nothing like God of War. This looks nothing. He's right though. This looks nothing like God of War. Like, what the fuck even is this? Like, giant gods and shit. I mean, when has a God of War game ever had giant gods and shit in it, dude? Like, what? Like, yeah, dude. Like, this is a God of War game. Seriously? This doesn't even look like it, dude. This looks like Forspoken. Yeah, guys, this looks nothing like God of War. Nah, man, nothing like it, dude. Like what? Like, what am I even watching? Like, what is this, dude? What am I even watching, bro? This isn't God of War. What? What kind of God of War game has you fight a god that's like 5 times your size, dude? Like, what? This is so fucking... Dude, they're totally switching the game up, dude. This is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, dude, that's not even realistic, dude. That, like, Kratos would never do... Dude, he would never do that.
Don't give up. I don't give up.
Yeah, dude, I mean, dude, like, they changed this game so much, dude. Like, what even, dude, I feel like I'm watching fucking, I feel like, dude, I like, feel like I'm watching Pokemon or something, dude. I feel like I'm watching The Sims. Like, this is so, dude, they're totally, like, directing this game for women and women only. Like, I don't even feel like I'm the audience anymore. Like, what is this? This is nothing like the God of War I'm used to. What? So feminine coded. Yeah, dude, this shit looks like a fairy tale. Yeah, bro. Sure, man. Sure, man. This looks like every other game we've seen fail. Sure, man. I agree.
Nobody is saying that women can't lead in games. In fact, I'm saying the opposite. I think that they should have their own games. It's probably not coming off the way that it probably should. If these publishers and studios are so confident in what they're doing and the changes that they're making and the characters that they're putting in, my question is, why is it so often that these characters have to inherit the names, the audiences, and the cultural weight of games that were built around men? Why?
Maybe because God of War is a fucking franchise, right? It's not his title. Kratos hasn't been the God of War since he left Olympus. For somebody who prides himself on, I'm a business guy, I like numbers, I'm a marketing guy, the idea of putting the franchise name on the spin-off game to increase its sales, and not even increase its sales, not even just that, but it's also continuing and expanding on the story and the universe of that franchise, putting the franchise name on that doesn't make sense to you? They shouldn't do that just because they put a woman in as the lead? That doesn't make sense to you? I'm not the marketing genius here, okay? This guy prides himself on being some sort of fucking marketing corporate fucking numbers guy. So, I'm not the marketing genius. I'm a dumbass. This guy's the marketing genius, and yet he doesn't understand the idea of a franchise name. Apparently.
We instead call out the blatant misogyny of the games industry and of creative industries as a whole, that they believe that women can't stand on their own, and the only way that they can is if they stand on the shoulders of men to find success. Call me a misogynist? Try looking in the mirror. Now, I want to be painfully clear. I don't have any problem.
He really thought he got that, dude. You really thought you got that one, huh? You really thought you got that one, huh? You think I'm the misogynist? I'm the misogynistic one. You need to look in the mirror. You're the misogynistic one. Huh.
problem at all with Faye being a protagonist in God of War or in a spin-off or hell even in a mainline series. I might even like it. I have no idea. I just know that immediately looking at it, it didn't initially look for me. The thing that I take a issue with is the broader trend of this industry, taking existing games, repurposing them, and chasing different audiences, abandoning the original ones. And that's exactly what they're doing. If you're blind to that, I don't know what to tell you.
You haven't told me anything. you know what you could tell me if I'm blind to it? Maybe open my eyes. Because if it's something that can clearly be seen by you and so many other people, it shouldn't be that hard to show somebody else that who doesn't see it, right? If it's just that clear and open. How are they changing this game? You haven't explained it once. You haven't explained how they're even redirecting this game to a different audience. You haven't explained that at all. Outside of the fact that it's just because Lao Fei is the lead and she's a woman. And now all of a sudden that just means because the protagonist is a woman that the game is 100% redirected towards women and women only, when that's not how that works at all. So if it's not because she's a woman and that's why you think that they're redirecting the game to a different audience, what's the other reason? A cube? I don't see how a cube is a woman-coded thing. It's a fucking shape. A sword? I think dudes like swords. Probably chicks too. Oh, the purple and pink color? Oh, what are you, fucking 5 and you think only purple and you think women only like the colors purple and pink? Like, come on, man. I like this guy a lot, but dude, this is like, come on. Like, you're fucking way smarter than this. There's no way you're gonna pander to your audience this fucking hard.
These guys are so very obviously targeting women with this game. I mean, you can see it immediately in just the broader tones at the very beginning. It's the changes in color, it's the cutesy animals, it's the quippy dialogue, it's the humor, it's the fairy tale-like companions that are accompanying her. Like, these guys are very obviously targeting women. They do want to change the audience, and they're going in a different direction. Whether or not...
Because of colors, a cube, some cutesy animal, I guess. I don't know what fucking animal he's talking about. And then a talking sword. And you think all of that means this game is for women. You literally, in this video, bro, you literally have the mentality of like a fucking 7-year-old who just learned about cooties for the first time. And you're just like, no, I can't touch girls. Girls got cooties, man. Anything that's girl related's got cooties, man. You literally sound like a fucking child, dude. Bitching about a cube, swords, colors, and animals in a game that we just watched that it looks nothing like a game that's specifically geared towards women. You want to know what kind of games are definitely geared towards women? Like dating sims. Like a game like fucking Stardew Valley or some shit. Like those games. This is not anything like that. This looks like a God of War game. This looks like something that dudes are going to play the fuck out of. Me included. And my cousin. Who's a way bigger God of War fan than I am. He's been playing that shit since we were kids, bro. So, you sound like a child, dude.
That bleeds over to the greater franchise, and this is just a gamble. We'll wait to find out. But keep in mind, one of the things this is what's bothering people. That's where the divide is coming from.
Because they're
men and women fundamentally just have different interests. And while those interests sometimes may intersect, in most cases, that's coincidentally. So you're seeing a lot of people that are getting upset because they're looking at something that was historically for them, and now it's not anymore.
It is.
So what are they supposed to do? Especially...
It is. I just showed you. Somehow, ladies and gentlemen... Somehow these men think this is too feminine coded. That this game is not for them anymore. Somehow. These are fucking children, man.
Especially when it takes so long for these games to come out. They come out, oh yeah, well, God of War, don't worry, there's going to be another one with Kratos. Okay, well, it's taking you guys, I think it's like 7 years at this point that these guys have been working on this one. Oh, just wait another 7 years for the next one.
Roll your eyes, you dumb motherfucker. They're literally giving you 3 remasters of the originals to hold your little childish ass over so they can give you your little manly fucking game over there in a few years. What are you rolling your eyes for? They literally thought about y'all's lame asses while fucking releasing this game. What the fuck are you rolling your eyes for? I'm sorry. I hate the cocky, conceited attitude as if he's really preaching something here when he's not. He's sitting here acting like a fucking child and literally giving childish opinions on why he doesn't like this game and why this game is now for women. It's literally like an 8-year-old complaining about cooties, nigga. This man literally sat here, was like, because there's a woman as the lead, there's a cube, there's a cutesy animal somewhere, a talking sword, and the colors pink and purple, this game is now towards women. That's such a, like, it annoys me that I'm looking at this grown fucking man make these points and then act like he's really talking about some shit. Like, no, you're just showing your fucking childish mentality when it comes to video games. And representation, as far, if anything. You guys sit here and preach about representation and why can't men be in games? Why can't men be in games? When y'all have been in games for the last 20 fucking years. And this is like the very first time we've seen a lot of women start getting the leads in some of these fucking popular games. And it's not like they're just fucking shoo-ins. They're making these stories make sense. They just want to represent women in media, and there's nothing fucking wrong with that. But you people are so fucking childish that you can't even acknowledge when a story is gonna be a good story. Because you're just so up the ass about this shit, about not wanting to play as a woman, about women this and women like this and women like that. Motherfucker, you don't even, bro, I'm sure you got a girl, but I doubt you even know what fucking women like, dog. I'm sorry. I don't think you even know what kind of games women really fucking play most of the time. I'm so dead ass. If you think this is a game that is geared towards women, and only women at this point, you're fucking delusional.
That's a whole other problem, the games industry on its own. But this brings us to a crossroads. Been listening to Bone Thugs lately. Audience expansion at all costs, ignoring any and all risks in some cases. A lot of games that are just completely terrified of having a target audience, and they're also leaving a lot of their audiences behind by doing this. Every single year, we watch as more and more games come out and they just fail. They fall flat on their face. And a lot of this is just the result of these guys chasing a larger audience. They have gotten greedy. They want more people. And the more that they do it, the more people they leave behind. And eventually, the less people that are going to show up at all. Something that I think probably gets lost in all the noise of the videos that I make throughout the year is that I love games. Like, I really love games, but I also love business, sales, and marketing, and I just can't get this stuff out of my head, and I just cannot stand to watch people fail because of very obvious mistakes. That is why I talk about these topics as bluntly as I do. It's why I want games to be successful. That does not necessarily mean that I think that everything I say is right or that every prediction I'm going to make is going to come true. But one thing I don't think anybody can afford to ignore anymore is how many of these games are failing year after year because they are being made for an audience that is so broad, so diverse, and so poorly defined that they're never actually going to find one. Now, I would love to be proven wrong, but while God of War Law...
Okay, and in those games those games get made, live, die, and then they move on. Who fucking cares? Okay? It happens. What does this have to do with Laufey?
Probably won't fail. It will undeniably sell fewer copies than God of War Ragnarok because the target audience has changed. Now,
no, not because the target audience has changed. It's because you fucking loser chuds refuse to fucking connect your controller to your console if there's a woman on your screen. That you're just like, nah, I'm not buying this shit. You know, if you've played these fucking games, if you know the story, you know this game is going to be fire. You know this game is going to really, really pull together a lot of mysteries and things we don't have answers to as far as Faye and their relationship and how she even became who she is and whatnot. If you know this story and you've been following it since 2018, you are excited for this game and you will buy this game. If you don't buy this game, maybe it's probably because you just don't play God of War naturally, or if you do and you claim to be a big fan of it, it's literally because you just refuse to play a woman. That is it. Where are we at? We are 15 minutes into this video. We still have another 10 minutes, and you have not given me anything that that validates anything that you fucking said about this game at all. Everything is just, it's childish. You just sound childish.
The audience is people who already played God of War, plus women tagged onto the side, plus some vague modern audience that nobody can clearly define. And while I have seen plenty of people try to argue the moral good of this because it's making the franchise more inclusive, I do not care to argue the morality of it. I am only interested in the business decision, and I am only aware of it because I was the target audience. The moment that you try to bolt on a secondary audience onto a product or unnaturally try to broaden its appeal, the entire thing is just going to get thrown into chaos. The tone changes, the marketing changes, the writing changes. The original audience becomes a lot less certain that that game is still for them, like I am with Lawfey, while the new audience that these guys are chasing might not even care what these guys are doing. We have watched these kind of shifts damage franchises and collapse studios across the entire industry. We may never see another Dragon Age after Veilguard. Saints Row went from gangsters to quirky nerds and may never return. And I am fully convinced that Fable is going to suffer the exact same fate. These are games that started with defined audiences, which then defined their writing, mechanics, and gameplay. Then somebody came in and decided that that definition was a limitation. So then they changed the tone, they widened their pitch, they contorted these games into something that alienated the people that were already invested without giving anybody else a strong reason to show up. They didn't make a larger audience, they just removed the reason for the audience to exist. All of this is being driven by profitability, or rather profitability conveniently converging with self-destructive empathy. I think a lot of people have kind of concluded that these games basically all across the entire industry are being driven by personal politics or some kind of coordinated social agenda. And while I think that that can be true at times, I don't think it's as nearly as organized or intentional as people make it out to be. Guys, I think the vast majority of game developers are just these creative, beautiful souls who genuinely want nothing more than for everybody to feel welcome playing their games. And they just want their work to reach as many people as possible. And that just so happens to perfectly align with what executives want, just in the wrong way. Because these executives do want these games to appeal to everybody, but for a much simpler reason. They want this audience to keep growing. But I think what we're looking at is the symptom of a maturing market. I think that the games industry is largely done growing, or at the very least, that growth is going to slow dramatically. There are just only so many people in the world, only so much free time, only so much disposable income, and you're only...
And what imaginary audience do you think this game is? Do you think these people are trying to attract? That's not the fucking original 2018 God of War audience that's been here the whole time. What? Who? Because they could have did this. They could have did that in so many other ways. If they just wanted to put in some fucking shoo-in woman to just have a woman as a lead, dude, they would have put Freya in there or some shit. She would have been the easiest. Oh look, she's the leader of fucking Asgard or some shit. Hey, she's a badass. This is the goddess of war. That's what they would have done. They didn't do that. This is a natural continuation of the fucking story. This was supposed to happen. Anybody who doesn't think that this game was supposed to happen, that we were never going to play as Faye or learn about Faye a lot more, you did not play the original, or at least you did not pay attention to the stories of the God of War 2018 or Ragnarok. That's it. Because literally everybody who has played this shit that I've asked about playing as Lao Fei, and if they're excited for it, everybody's fucking excited for it. Everybody's like, yeah, this shit looks fucking badass, dude. This fucking chick is fucking sick, and they're dudes. So I don't know.
You're going to be able to make this hobby accessible so much before you're going to reach a point of saturation. And I think that gaming is pretty damn saturated. Now, at the same time, we have games that are taking longer to make, costing more to produce, and the hobby itself becoming more expensive to enter, things that really should not be happening at the exact same time. More people are being forced out of the hobby financially, while these companies are also expecting to still grow year after year. So now we have these executives that are just scrambling, trying to deny the reality that's right in front of them. They don't want to shrink their companies. They don't want to lower their projections. They don't want to tell their shareholders that the market has finally reached its limit. So instead, these guys are trying to broaden their audience. They're trying to reshape existing franchises and existing studios to fit more people, assuming that the original audience is still going to remain loyal no matter what these guys do. And then they go and they chase this audience that may never actually be interested in their games at all. The place we've seen this happen the most clearly has been with live service games, To Kill the Justice League, Concord, Highguard, Marathon, and probably a dozen other games that nobody has even heard of. And I know that some people are going to say, wait, well, some of those games are completely new. They didn't change their audience within an existing franchise. Well, sometimes that shift is not happening inside of a game. It's actually happening at a studio level. After just 3 months, the live service MOBA Spellcaster Chronicles is already shutting down. And I don't think most people even knew this game existed. Actually, I'm positive they didn't because, well, games journalists didn't even review it, and the game only peaked at around 888 players before it just was canceled immediately. This game was made by Quantic Dream, the same studio that did Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, two of the most popular and recognizable choice-driven narrative RPGs or narrative games that have ever been made. Heavy Rain was a massive commercial success on PlayStation 3. Detroit Become Human is still selling today. It just recently passed 15 million copies. This studio doesn't make MOBAs. They don't make multiplayer games. Quantic Dream built their entire reputation around cinematic, narrative-driven experiences. Then it pivoted into basically the exact opposite direction of the audience that these guys already have, and that audience did not follow them. Quantic Dream is obviously known. They already had millions.
Well, dude, so what? They can't. So what? Are you fucking shitting on fucking developers for wanting to try new shit and try to make new games? If anything, that fucking MOBA didn't go anywhere because there was no marketing. Again, Mr. Marketing fucking genius. Did you see any marketing for that game? I saw none. None. If I did, I probably would have tried it out. I'm a big MOBA fan. I play games like Smite, Predecessor, Deadlock. I like MOBAs. I've never played League of Legends though. Fuck that. I don't know. I might play League. I don't know. But I like MOBAs. If that game was actually fucking advertised a lot better and marketed a lot better, probably would have gotten an audience. But since it seems like there was no marketing for it, yeah, it makes sense that nobody was fucking playing it because nobody fucking knew it existed. But are you trying to say, oh, look, the whole studio's trying to shift their audience to playing MOBAs and only MOBAs? No. That's just what game companies do. A lot of game companies don't just stick with like the one thing that makes them like that. They don't stick with the one thing. They branch out and do other shit. You know, I saw a documentary the other day about DICE, the people who make, they're the company that make Battlefield. Did you know when they first started making games, they were making pinball games? Pinball. Like old school ass, like NES, like really old school ass games, but they were pinball games. Then, while they were going around, because they were getting pretty successful with their games and shit, they went around and they saw a game. I forgot what it was called, but it was a shooter game. It was old as fuck, but the engine was good, but the story wasn't good, so the game didn't sell well. But the engine looked really good. It piqued the guys at DICE's interest, so they bought that studio so they could acquire that engine. And then because they got that engine, you know what they made? The first Battlefield, or whatever it was. It was like Battlefield like fucking 42 or some shit. I don't remember, but they made Battlefield, and then from there they still made Battlefield, but they also made other shit on the side. That's what these companies do. They branch out. That's what healthy game developing companies do. When they don't have to constantly meet the fucking quotas of like, we have to constantly make like a new Call of Duty or a new fucking this. They try other shit. The game, that MOBA did not fail because that audience just didn't follow them there. It failed because it has no fucking marketing. If the game critics didn't even fucking play the game and give it a fucking rating, dude, like, you expect me to believe that thing had any marketing? I haven't seen that shit anywhere. I look through like free games and like new selling games all the time on Steam. I never saw that shit anywhere. It's not because fans don't follow. It's because it had no marketing, dog. Zero, none, zilch. I don't know. It's a lot of cope coming from LD right now.
Of players that cared about their work, but none of that matters when you go and you make something that those people never asked for in a market that nobody is waiting for you. That's exactly what happened there. But I think the best example of all this, or probably the worst example in this case, is Sony. Sony is probably the one publisher that has been the most heavily invested in the live service push. At one point, these guys had 12 live service games that were planned, and while we have no idea what that list looks like now, we do know what followed. Failure after failure. Sony never even finding a single major hit with all that they were chasing. And the entire time that these guys were doing this, they neglected the audience that built PlayStation. Sony became so obsessed with reaching new players and chasing whatever part of the market that they thought looked the most profitable that they lost sight of why people bought their consoles at all. And that thinking didn't stop at a business level. It spread to the studios themselves until these companies seemingly could not recognize the audiences that were sitting directly in front of them. That is exactly how you see a company that is abandoning the Destiny brand to go all in on Marathon, a game that just went free for this last weekend and was only able to peak at around 40,000 players. Sony spent years denying the reality of their own audience, and the results ended up showing up in their own sales numbers. In 2019, they had reached their peak of 58 million units sold. By 2024, that number had fallen to more than half, 28 million, before recovering slightly to 32 million in 2025. And what changed? Sony started giving their audience what they actually expected from PlayStation again. Astrobot, Ghost of Yotai, Death Stranding 2, high-quality single-player games with clear identities and an obvious audience. It was only when Sony finally returned back to the players that it had spent years overlooking that their numbers finally started moving back in the right direction. And I think that says everything. Sony did not need to discover some new massive audience hidden somewhere beyond the edge of the market. It already had one. They already had their own. The problem was that it became so consumed with finding the next audience that they stopped serving the people who were already there. These guys are so absolutely terrified of just admitting that while the games industry is bigger than it's ever been before, it's likely not going to get much bigger than what it already is, because it is massive. And instead of trying to squeeze water from a stone, these guys need to instead just draw water from the well that they already built. I mean, this is probably the most important part, but serving the audiences that you already have, consistently serving the audiences that you already have, is how you reach secondary audiences. No matter what, just because it's just the way that markets work, secondary audiences are always going to find your products, but in most cases, they find your products through the audience that's already there. So if those guys are happy, they're likely to hear about it more often, and they're also more likely to hear about it positively rather than negatively. Too many of these companies have become so self-obsessed over the idea of radically changing their entire franchises to be able to reach wider audiences, to reach more people. And the thing is that doing the best you possibly can for the audience that you already have is how every single company has reached its peak. Every single time. But it only ever becomes their peak because they abandon that audience once they reach that level. It's this never-ending cycle where these guys just get way too greedy once they're up at the top, and they enjoy so much success that the only path that they can see forward is with a new audience, not the one that they already have. And it destroys.
Yeah, this is all great, fine, and dandy. What the hell does this have to do with God of War Laufey?
Destroys these guys. So what they end up doing is they just basically come up with the idea of just fundamentally changing these games, and it just doesn't work with the audience. I mean, try to keep in mind that the target demographic, or maybe a better way for me to be able to say this is the most profitable demographic inside of the games industry historically has always been men from ages 18 to 34. It's always been that way. Okay. That's just the people that are spending the most money on video games, at least on like the broader trend of genres and everything like that. And there are certain themes and fantasies that always speak to that demographic. It's guns and cars and powers and swords and monsters and attractive women and competition and attractive women. And
you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? It's the little things. It's the little things. He had to fucking repeat it twice because again, his problem it's not that Faye's in the game. It's clearly just the fact that Faye's not hot enough for him. He can't fucking jerk his shit to Faye enough, so now he's upset. That's all I'm getting from this video, dude. And that's just all I'm getting from this shit. You went on this whole rant about live service bullshit that has nothing to do with fucking God of War Laufey, man. I don't know. And then everything else, every other critique in this video has just been I don't want to play as a woman, and I hate the color pink, and I hate a cube, and I hate a sword. That's just like, okay, dude, I don't know.
Because we know what those games look like, because we know what those tastes are, because it's so predefined and it's so reliable, really what it is, it's so reliable. Anytime something changes in that, it is so noticeable. That audience can see it immediately. Other audiences can see it immediately. It stands out immediately. And
yeah, and dude, I don't know, man. Guns, cars, attractive women, weapons, attractive women, men, attractive women.
It just doesn't feel like it belongs. That doesn't mean that's the only audience that you have to make things for. You can make things for other audiences, but if you're going to change things within that core demographic, that's where you're going to find a lot of heat. That's where you're going to find a lot of these problems. That's where you're going to find a lot of these people that are getting upset. And it's why people are getting upset. Just something to keep in mind. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did,
I have no idea what the fuck that last part had anything to do with God of War Laufey, but hey, man, whatever. Yeah, man, that's it for this video, dude. I'm convinced Legendary Drops just doesn't like Laufey. He doesn't want to play as a woman. He wants to play as a big, brolic white man in his video games. That's pretty much all I got from this entire video. I'm very disappointed. I actually really liked Legendary Drops, but this was definitely not... It's definitely not a good video from him, in my opinion. You know, of course, his audience is gonna love it because his audience is exactly that fucking dumb loser fucking demographic that just thinks women have cooties and just fucking... Yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is, man. I don't know. It is what it is. If y'all like this video, man, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll leave this original video in the description below, so y'all can go check it out. Go show them some love or do whatever you want. And I'll catch you on the next one. Wow, that was a hard watch.